What an amazing cross-section of Ireland we have in this room today. This is exactly actually how I'd imagined it, because just over a year ago, I pictured this room. I pictured leaders from business, leaders from sports, leaders from nonprofits, leaders from all different areas and beyond, coming together. I pictured leaders from different parts of Ireland, all with different interests, with different backgrounds, coming together to start something together. And today is just that start. And what a start it is. We have 24 founding partners and their teams in this room, and we have leaders from nonprofits. We have social entrepreneurs leaders. We have lots of entrepreneurs that are leaders. We have young leaders. We have senior leaders. We have leaders from the media, leaders from arts. We have leaders from all different areas. But I want us to stop. I want us to stop for a minute and just think. Look around this room. How much influence is there in these four walls today? Because today is all about the multiplier effect of all of our influence. And today is just the start. So some of you might be thinking, well, do you know what? I'm not sure this is so relevant for me. Am I really a leader? And I'd like to challenge that. Because if you're a parent and you've got little followers or disgruntled teenagers, or if you're a CEO or a friend or a spouse or a colleague or a team member, aren't the people around you influenced by the words that you say, by the actions you take, by the questions that you ask? If they're being influenced, you're leading them. And LIFT is all about building positive influence. It's about building us as leaders. LIFT stands for Leading Ireland's Future Together. LIFT is about building us so that we ask better questions, so that we make better decisions, so that we influence each other positively. Because only people influence people. And this is about increasing our positive influence. Influence in our homes, in our families, in our communities, in our sports and our clubs, in our workplaces, and in our businesses. And today is just the start. So why do we need to increase this positive influence? Why do we need to do this? Sure, aren't we great in Ireland? I think we're great. We all think we're great. But whilst Ireland is great, I mean, let's look at us. Let's look at us around the world. We are above average in education, in health, in culture. We are above average in environmental quality. We are above average in safety and security, and so many other areas. We are above average. We are some of the world's leaders in some of these areas. We are really good. But, and yes, there is a but, there's something wrong with our island. There is something wrong with our island. Over the last 20 years, indeed, over the last 20 months or 20 weeks, we have seen scandal after scandal. We have seen tribunals and inquiries. There isn't a sector that isn't touched by mismanagement, unethical behavior, lack of accountability and competence, and serious lapses in leadership and character. So where is Ireland headed? What's the future for Ireland? We all know this, and I think that's why we're here today. Let's face it, that is. So, I started to ask people some questions a while ago, and I started to ask them and talk about this and say, you know, Ireland is a great place. It's a great place to be, it's a great place to live, but we could get better. There is more we could get better with. And people say, yeah, there is, you're right. People were agreeing with me. But sure, what can we do? But sure, what can we do? This was always the statement that came after that. But sure, we're grand. What can we do? And that became a complete turning point for me. Sure, what can we do? Because leadership is about setting the right direction. And it's time for us to reset our compass as a country. Because in sure, what can we do? Well, we can get together and we can tackle it. We can build something out of nothing. We can develop ethical leaders. We can leverage our companies and we can drive positive, powerful ideas and spread them. We can celebrate leadership. We can celebrate good leader role models. And we can lift ourselves. We can lift ourselves. We can lift each other, one person at a time, one conversation at a time, one day at a time. And today is just that start. So I'm passionate about Lift. This is important to me, but I'm not the only one. There are a whole host of people on this journey that have given their time, given their expertise, and more than anything, given their energy voluntarily to the whole Lift organization. So I'd like to introduce you to some of those incredible people now. So I'm going to ask the advisory board, the marketing and comms team to stand up in the room so where you can see them, and let me just give you a chance to say hello. Where have we got them? Okay, great. So starting off with, we've got Sonia Lennon, Derry Gray, Mick Sweeney, we've got Declan Gray, we have Ken Casey, Suzanne Carroll. Give a wave, guys, so we know who you are. We have Greg Clark here. We have Ruth Burnside, David Hession, my brother and co-founder, together with Sonia as well, Mars Prendergast, Eamon Forbes, Catherine Maroney. I missed John Lonergan, did I? John's down there. Fardis as well, Fardis Sultan, Carl O'Brien. Did I miss anybody? Stephen O'Leary here, and Kathy Winston, who isn't here at the moment, and Emer. Listen, I have to make a special point for Emer. Emer gave up a full-time job to come and work voluntarily for Lift. So these people, together with over 20, and Ruth Burnside, did I get Ruth too? These people, together with 20 other volunteers, looked at an organization and said, sure, what can we do? And took an organization from that, sure, what can we do, to an organization of real depth and real impact. Please give them a round of applause. So, how does Lift work? What's it all about? John Maxwell, who I'm going to introduce you to shortly, John is known as the world's most influential leadership expert. John has invites from over 20 heads of state to come to their country and help them with national leadership issues. Last year, I worked with John in Paraguay as he worked with the country to build their leadership. Now, when I was there, it hit me like a complete thunderbolt. If a country like Paraguay, with its history of corruption, poverty, and mismanagement, has got the maturity and sophistication to reflect on itself and think, we can do better, then surely we in Ireland can do that too. So I came home from Paraguay and totally inspired by John and Mark and all they are doing, I started to talk to people and say, let's do something about this. We need to do something about this. But we need to do it as a country, and we need to do it together as a country. And so people started to get on board with it. So what we have now is we have developed a process, or we have a process that involves small groups of individuals coming together and meeting over an 8-week period for 30 to 45 minutes, and each week they discuss a different area of leadership. The leadership areas that they discuss are all around the values of the leader. What are important to us as leaders? So we did a nationwide survey earlier this year, and we asked people, what are the values that are important to us as leaders? Things like integrity, respect, accountability, competence, drive and determination. So out of that independent survey, we took 8 different areas of leadership. And we now have a process that will be rolled out where small groups will come together. So imagine this, picture this. So we could have 8 teachers in a staff room, 5 teachers in a staff room forming one group. We could have 5 transition year students forming another group. We could have 5 colleagues coming together at a canteen or around a boardroom table. Or we could have 5 people that are all on the same sports team that happen to meet before training each week for 30 to 45 minutes, and they then meet and do the lift process. Or we could have, like Dad did over the last couple of months, an almost 80, hope you don't mind me saying that, Dad, almost 80-year-old grandfather who took 4 of his teenage grandchildren through this process in Wexford every once a week for 8 weeks. At the end of this process, we then invite members of that group to start to form other groups. What we do at LIFT is we completely support these groups. We give them materials, we give them support, and we train one person in each group to be a facilitator of the process, so they know exactly what they're going to do. At the end of this, our aim is that by 2028, 10% of the population will have participated in LIFT tables. What that means is we will have lifted ourselves, lifted our companies, our organizations, our sports clubs, our communities, and our home, and we will have lifted our country.